what we're gonna do is rank the presidents based off morality. S tier is gonna be pious. A tier is gonna be, oh, there we go. Virtuous is gonna be A tier. B tier is gonna be just. C tier is gonna be compromise, because you know some of these guys are just in the middle. D is gonna be corrupt, but not corrupt as in scandal necessarily. Dalton, what's up, Dalton? F tier is gonna be just damnation. You know, whoever's gonna go in F tier is just gonna be destined for hell. Wilson, thanks, Dalton. Yeah, I got my yeah. Hey, yo, everyone spam Dalton to join in. NA, we don't need an NA, so we're gonna delete this row. So the criteria here is just gonna be ranking based off my own understanding, and whatever you guys bring up in the chat, I'll take into consideration. But it's gonna be basically, you know, have they lived a life that's right, which is obviously subjective, but maybe some of the factors I'll take in as Christian values. You know, have they smoked, drank alcohol, had slaves, you know?
Hello?
Hello. Hey.
Yeah, where's my webcam at? I need webcam on the right side, you know?
Get a webcam then. Alright, you take over the video, I'm done.
Okay. You retire?
Yeah. Okay, what do you think about the tier
I'm hearing
listings?
everything twice. You're gonna have to help me define pious, man.
It's kind of like virtuous, but like another level up.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
Actually, Google will be the judge of that. Devoutly religious. Hmm.
Kind of like a symbolism, you know. You obviously don't have to be religious to be moral, but...
Okay, how about we say ethically pious then?
Okay, I'm not gonna type that in, but you can say that.
Okay, alright.
Okay, so, yeah. So now in Washington.
You know, he gave up the third term. He, I don't know the right word for that, but the word is, partisanship, by the way. He passed the torch on, and he set a precedent for all the future presidents. I don't know, maybe that's humble. He gave up power, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he could have became king.
He could have became king,
And he was like,
yeah.
no, let's not do this, boys. We need to actually have a democratic government and get a say into who becomes leader of their country. He did have slaves, and he pursued a runaway slave, Ona Judge.
But he also warned everyone the dangers of political parties. You know, he was the only independent president, being unanimously selected as the first president of the United States. He warned the people, I think on his last address to the union or whatnot.
His teeth was made out of the teeth of slaves, Dalton. Forgot about that one. Yeah, that, like,
bad dental
this is
hygiene.
hard. Okay, this is landing between just or compromise.
So, are we taking into account his morality during his 8 years or his entire life?
It's not, no, his entire life. Turn my light on so the lighting can be better.
Am I gonna get flashbanged? Oh, I'm
No.
flashbanged.
No, you're not.
Did I tell you you look like a villain? I don't know, man. Yeah,
everything,
freaking-
yeah. Okay, he's going at just. Hey, yo,
We got Abraham
chat.
Lincoln in the chat.
Oh. Abe Lincoln.
We got to take into their accounts, you know, their ideas. We got slave teeth over here. That's an issue.
The two-term thing he did is kind of like,
I think it balances out.
yeah.
I say just is fine. We got to compromise here.
Yeah, it might be like a
Thanks,
low.
is compromise. Oh, can I swear in here?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm a wholehearted Christian. I'm in the pious. I mean, I'm joking.
Okay, let's move on. Adams opposed
John
slavery.
Adams?
He never had a slave in his life. He
heavily opposed slavery too.
Yeah, he also defended a British soldier during the Boston Massacre. Remember that? Pursued law over the majority. Everyone is like, get that guy. He's like, guys, we need to be just here. So he's obviously has to be above just. But he did.
Because I do remember talking about that in U.S. history when we were talking about the Boston Massacre and how these soldiers just shot up these other guys, you know, Tea Party and stuff, all that stuff going on back then. The teacher was saying this is a great example of almost what now is like judicial review. The judges providing examples or what they call precedents for future court cases where they have to defend minorities, even though the majority views one thing, you know. So he defended the British soldier, even though the British soldier may have done something wrong. He needed a fair trial.
Yeah, but he did sign the Alien Sedition Act, remember?
Oh, that was the illegals.
Violated free speech, targeted immigrants.
Oh no, okay.
That what makes him really bad in the tier list. Like that makes it that one thing is apparently the worst thing ever. I would actually put Adams virtuous. Not gonna lie. I mean, during his time, he had no slaves.
What you just said?
What, the Alien Sedition Act?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, you just said like that's the worst thing ever, and you're like,
yeah,
we're
I
going
know, it's the
virtuous.
worst thing ever. He would be like an A-tier president if he never did that. Okay, I think we put Adams virtuous. A-tier. What do you think?
I agree with that.
We got Jefferson, you know, he authored the Declaration of Independence, right?
Oh my God! Didn't he
Did
shoot
it.
Burr?
Nah, that was Burr shot
That was a different
Hamilton.
guy?
Burr did not
Oh.
get shot. We're not doing
yeah,
vice
that fucking
president
musical
morality
was
list.
weird.
That guy would be damnation. He married into a slave who was 14, right? He had a relationship with
Oh
a
my
14-year-old,
God!
right?
Well, back then it was kind of normal, right?
Well,
After the
no,
women
no,
got
no,
their
no, no.
period,
This
they were
was-
considered women.
This was still weird, bro. This is...
He was a diplomat though, right? In France a lot. He owned land over there and had a mansion or something.
That might be Franklin Benjamin, no? 600 slaves, right? Around that many. He had slaves, right? But he also didn't want slavery to exist, so it's a contradiction. That guy's a walking contradiction.
Contradictory right there. What is that called? That's where you say when you smoke cigarettes, but you tell other people to not do it.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy. But then you got to think about him with the Declaration of Independence. He cared about people's liberty, just like that one guy who said, "Give me liberty or give me death." I don't know. With his slave stuff, man, that really brings him down.
Yeah, that, no, the whole thing with that 14-year-old and he had 600 slaves, that really might put him in corrupt. Then again,
He got elected for 2 terms. People must have liked him.
I mean, Hitler stayed in power for a little bit, and he's
Okay.
probably...
Well, yeah, Hitler was that guy. Ooh, we should put him in pious, right? I'm joking.
Okay.
Sorry, is that a Latin word?
Louis the Pious was basically Father Charlemagne.
Come up with a choice.
I think it's gotta go corrupt, bro. This guy has a corrupt...
Hey, no, you're exhibiting tyranny.
Or Urban said, or Knox Pulcius said Washington and Jefferson corrupt. But put him in corrupt. I mean, this dude literally had sexual relations with a 14-year-old. Like, if anything,
yeah,
this should be a damnation.
You can't justify that.
That might be a damnation. Do we put him to hell?
There we go.
What do you
The
think
Louisiana Purchase. I had to look it up, dude, because I can't remember. That's literally like half of America at the time.
That's like presidency. That's not morality, really.
I know, but the morality of increasing the land, no.
He might be a
Put him in
damnation.
damnation. 600 slaves is horrible.
And he dated the 14-year-old.
Sexual relations
Jefferson?
with a 14-year-old that we know of. What if
That's
we
you
had
have.
Poor guy.
How did Broke
All right.
get the Louisiana Purchase? Okay.
James Madison.
Co-authored the Bill of Rights. You know, he protected individual freedoms and promoted civil liberties, okay? But he did own slaves.
Constitutionalism. Does he have any secrets?
Not really.
You think he had
Actually,
700
Jefferson,
slaves?
isn't Jefferson like kind of a homosexual? It doesn't matter, he's a damnation already, you can't get worse than that. Wait, we should call D tier like sinful.
I think it fits better than corrupt. Because corrupt would be, you know, if you're thinking about corruption, lying to the American people, especially during the Vietnam War.
I'd put Madison compromise, maybe. He did own slaves. He could also be a just, but I don't think he lives all the way up to Washington.
So we got to balance the good and the bad. You can't just throw him in compromise. Yeah, he owned slaves, you know. Think about it. He was the father of the Constitution, all right?
Okay, you're right. We probably put him like below Washington.
Oh, do you want to do that order too?
Yeah.
Where we put him in the order of just? So Washington's like #1 on just right now.
Yeah, he's the leader of the just. Next up, we got
James
Monroe.
Monroe.
You know, he supported the resettlement of slaves in America to put them into Liberia. Which, you know, it's kind of like mixed, but I guess it was moral at the time. Yeah, but he did own slaves. How
I
many
think we
slaves
put him
did
in
he have?
just again.
Monroe had as many as 250.
Oh my God.
Apparently, he did support abolition, though.
This is just infinite contradictory. But yeah, back then, if you look at Dank's chat right there, slavery existed in different states and forms throughout almost all of human history, especially in Egypt, man. How do you think they built pyramids? Unless there was aliens, who knows? I'd put them in just.
Okay, yeah.
I'd put them in the back of just.
John Quincy Adams, right? This might be like a pious man. So he opposed slavery, right? Never owned slaves. Fought for civil liberties. I know how he fought He was like he was kind of a political person after his presidency, and he fought slavery.
Yeah, he was
Congress,
a
until his
representative.
death.
Virtuous or pious? Does he have any downsides? He didn't own no slaves if he opposed
Yeah.
it that much.
I don't think he really had any downsides.
We should put him in pious then.
Boom! First pious of the day, John Quincy
He fought
Adams.
slavery his entire life. You
Yeah,
know,
until
that's
he yucking
morality
died.
right there.
Yeah. That's a strong-willed man. Okay, next we
Seventh
got the
president of the
polarizing
United States
figure.
of America. He fought the courts. He went against their decisions. I think that's already like a small boost down in the morality.
Yeah, I can't even bring it more down. You want to hear it? Enslaved many people, right? Signed the
Oh, the
Indian
Trail of
Removal
Tears.
Act. Yep, Trail of Tears. And he had violent temper, and he he did a lot of duels. I mean, this
Oh
dude.
my god.
Yeah.
Didn't he try and get assassinated? People tried assassinating him.
Yeah,
on
and he beat
multiple
a guy with
occasions,
a
and
cane.
he just fucking he got them all. He was a badass, I'll say that. But yeah, he was bad, as in morality bad.
Jackson might be damnation.
I'd put him down there.
Yeah, he's doomed to hell. I think he's probably slightly better than Jefferson, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he did kill a lot of people.
I'd put him ahead of Jefferson, man. Did he own slaves like Jefferson?
Yeah,
600 slaves? Come on, you can't.
So Martin Van
All
Buren
right.
succeeding
The infamous homeless
Jackson,
president.
yeah. But you know, this guy's apparently opposed immediate abolition, but he did support slavery to preserve unity.
So that puts him down.
I think that's a sinner.
I'd probably put him in center. Yep, there you go.
Someone in chat also said it, but I had that on my mind already. Sinner! First sinner of the tier list?
William Henry Harrison. Dude
Yeah.
died immediately, right? Did William Henry Harrison have a child with a slave? Largely disregarded by historians. That's a possibility. Maybe it was an accusation.
Yeah, we can't say. Yeah, we can't make
We
assumptions.
can't
here.
say for sure.
We're not going to take that into consideration.
We don't know about much of the good things he did because he was only in
Yeah.
there a month.
And yeah. I mean, he fought for his country. That's pretty cool.
All right, number 10, John Tyler. That's already a milestone right there. Like, we got 10 presidents. He pushed through Congress something about getting the vice president, you know, making a line. Basically, so if president
Line
is
succession.
incapacitated or William Henry Harrison passed, he had to set that precedent.
But
Yep.
someone's talking about Tyler already, which I was gonna get on. That he's a traitor. Okay, let's talk about that. So he enslaved many people. He was openly pro-slavery, but he joined the Confederacy post-presidency and was elected to the Confederate Congress died before serving now. He strongly opposed abolition. So this guy was a traitor and he joined the Confederacy. If you compare him to like
Jesus.
Jackson and Jefferson, that's not that bad compared. I think that might be like a low sinner.
Look at him. He looks like a butler. Probably did have some
Yeah,
slaves.
let's
who
put him in
knows?
low sinner.
I don't know, Danny. Look at the chat right there. Even Jackson was strongly against secession, you know, seceding from the Union. Isn't that one of the highest crimes you could have as traitor to your country?
Treason.
In America?
It is treason then.
You're going to serve as president of the United States for 4 years, right? You lead the country. Well, back then you didn't have as much power as president, you know, as what people believe now. The president has a lot of power. And then later, the Civil War happens. You're like, yep, I'm going to join the enemy. I'm going to oppose the country that I was serving president as. It's like...
United States was also a traitor to Britain.
Okay, but that's clear. They were under tyrannical rule.
Yeah, the 1%
Tax
tax
the hell out
was
of 'em.
really, 1% tax, bro. That was really something.
At 1%, yeah, they really got him.
Danny, do a Palpatine impression when he say treason. It is treason then. Yeah.
Sound like Yoda.
James K. Polk.
It's off topic again. It's good. You're getting popular.
Debate. Why is Washington Solo? Is a cherry tree the big of a deal?
We already go back in the stream. You'll be able to see.
Yeah.
But I can give you a quick overview. He owned his issue with slaves. You know, he had slave teeth. Yeah.
James K. Polk. So he was kind of like this, you know, he slaved people throughout his life. Okay. He started the Mexican-American War, but in my opinion, that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to America. Was
Got
the
us extra
Mexican-American
land.
War. Yeah. It was
I think we
politically
may be
aggressive, though.
taking the slavery stuff too much to heart, but I don't know. It is morality, and we're going off of what we know now.
Yeah.
I've already said this. Everyone wealthy had slaves, so.
I don't think my ancestors ever had slaves. Yeah, I
The
don't.
man, yeah, from Germany.
Yeah, Adam Frederick Helmer.
They just raided all the land. Them Nordic people. Mine too, Danny. Me and you. Yeah.
But James K. Polk, I'd have put him compromised. You know, there's not really anything. He was devout.
Well, he was a really good president, as is, right? Just at least getting us the land.
I'd put him above
That's
Harrison.
not the morality.
Because Harrison, apparently he might have, you know, had kids with slaves. Moving on to Zachary Taylor. This guy he also had slaves. Probably died from the
Dirty water?
Yeah, dirty water. He took
Dirty
a
water,
moderate stance
poor guy.
on slavery expansion. So he was like, guys, the compromise of 1850.
Ooh, he kept the Union together. No, was it John Quincy Adams? I'm confusing my numbers now.
But apparently we got news flash. John Adams did not have slaves. Help me out, Dalton.
I'm thinking. Where's John Adams ranked at? Where's his
Virtuous,
little
so he
picture
might
on-
just go up again.
Hold on.
Wait, I thought we did say
See what I'm
we didn't have
asking you?
slaves.
Because I'm not looking up all the
Wait, are we
information.
martial law? Wait, are you talking to us? Are we getting gaslighted? Did we ever say what Adams
Who
had
else
slaves?
is he talking
I don't
about?
think
He
we ever
said,
had
yeah,
slaves.
he did not own slaves.
So he opposed slavery, right? Never
Mhm.
owned slaves.
Anti-slavery.
So he's the opposite of his dad, kind of.
Publicly opposed
Yeah.
slavery.
Yeah, that's what we said. We said that. Did we accidentally? Did I?
That's probably why he's ranked so high. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
up
we
there. Just
we
leave up
ranked
there.
him below because the Alien Sedition Act. Taylor, he had slaves.
Should we put him in compromise then?
Yeah, compromise. Not really anything to add.
I'd
We
put
could've-
him
right
in the
here.
middle or at the bottom. All right, moving on. Millard Fillmore.
So he signed and enforced the Fugitive Slave Act.
I'm trying to think. Was it about this Dred Scott?
Perhaps. Keep
Is that
going.
later on? Where it was a Dred Scott. It was a famous court case that declared slaves property because he escaped slavery. He
Yeah.
lived a free man up in the North States for like 10 years or so. And then someone went up there, found his ass, and said, "You're my slave." And then they got to court, and he was like, "I've been free for 10 years." And then they put his ass back in slavery and called him property. It's it's a court case in the Supreme Court that at the time they had to choose that, but it was very unpopular. Now, I don't know if that's what this compromise was about. That could be a completely different topic.
Some guy said y'all were saying back then everybody owned slaves that was rich. That's not true.
I think that's what I was saying. He's attacking me. I'm losing my words, man. I need some backup here.
It's a census or something? Like how many people count? How many slaves count?
Yeah, how many slaves were there back then compared to people that weren't slaves?
Well, you need a specific time period.
Around 1800 to 1900, I'd say.
Okay, Millard Fillmore, I think it goes in like compromise, like low compromise maybe.
Yeah. He doesn't have any very redeeming factors, but not any damnation, you know. Franklin Pierce, arguably one of the most handsome presidents.
Yeah.
Look at his hair.
Franklin the Handsome. He was an
Is it-
avid alcoholic, so this guy drank a lot of alcohol. He even
Oh,
said
God.
there's nothing to do but to get drunk when his son Benjamin
Jesus.
died. Yeah, so this guy was an alcoholic.
So that's a coping mechanism. Then.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're gonna go to alcoholic, bro. He might be a sinner, honestly.
You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Imagine you seen your mother and father's head gone by a train, flying away. Was it his policies with the Kansas-Nebraska
Yep.
Act that led to, you know, every state that then joined the Union in the new land that America was getting was either a slave state or a free state?
Yep.
So he set the precedent for the new states joining. Yeah, because that's around when politics were getting very, very heated. Lincoln had to do had to be very careful in what was going on.
Well, I'm gonna put him in sinner.
Because if they had too many slave states, the slave states would have too much power in Congress. So they tried balancing out. If he sympathized with the South, then yeah. James Buchanan.
the dough face. He looks
no.
like a piece of dough.
We got a bad president here.
Yeah, we have arguably the worst.
We're going off of
president in the United
morality,
States,
though.
yeah. Yeah, so he might be in damnation because he's also homosexual.
I just put him down there because of how little he did. I don't
put him
know about
high
his
damnation.
personal affairs in his regular life. If you ask anybody who knows anything about history and the president,
Right here.
history of the United States, they're gonna say James Buchanan was a horrible president, which that has to put his morale down.
Abraham Lincoln. I don't think there's much to say. We put him in pious.
Okay, you don't want to talk about his good things?
Well, yeah, but we're gonna talk about it. I just say like no.
I'd put him in top of pious. With how much
above.
effort he put in toward ending slavery and winning the war, he had to make sure everything was right. You know how much negotiation he had to do with Congress and get
Martial law,
people
yeah,
to try
pretty
and
much
pass
top.
his proclamation of the thing.
Emancipation
Emancipation Proclamation. Doesn't matter how you say it. It's the same thing.
Okay, Lincoln did change over time. He did oppose Polk's Mexican-American War.
Okay, now when he died, we have Mr. Andrew Johnson, arguably another very, very bad president.
Yeah, racist, undermined Reconstruction.
racist.
I mean, this guy, he vetoed civil rights laws, and yeah, he was.
Do you think the South was influencing his decisions to be more lenient on them? Or he just didn't care?
I don't know, but I don't know where he's going on damnation. Is he like the worst one?
How about we put Johnson in between second place, right behind Tyler? We leave James Buchanan where he is. I don't think you can get worse than traitor. I mean, you'd have to really stack up
I mean, Jefferson,
the felonies, you know, the
14-year-old.
bad things. Put Andrew Jackson as the least damnation. Then he was a cool guy, you know.
Trail of Tears, that was like a terrible event.
I think at some point we're gonna get too many guys in the damnation. We can't rank which one is the worst damnation, so we just leave them all even.
Is Jefferson worse or?
Wait, now how are you doing? The farthest to the right is the worst, or the furthest to the left is the worst?
Furthest to the right's worse. If you load.
Oh, I thought you were doing it the other way.
No, because if S tier, if you highest on pious, right, you're the best.
I know, but then if you're highest on damnation, you're the worst. Then no.
No,
or you're just going in complete.
We're doing it in order, so from the lowest of
right.
damnation to the highest.
That makes sense.
So what do you think about this then?
Move yeah, right there.
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can see me? Hey, Dad.
All right, we got to move on to the next president.
Yeah, before we die.
So, Ulysses S. Grant served 2 terms. We do have to bring in the fact that he was an alcoholic, and he nearly got kicked out of something for being an alcoholic.
Yeah, but
military, right?
He wasn't really a alcoholic per se, you know. He didn't really struggle with it as much as you think he would. But he was a heavy cigar smoker. He fought for black rights during the Reconstruction and crushed the KKK. He owned 1 slave person.
Oh, didn't he free a slave?
Yeah. This is the best part in his life ever. He wrote his memoirs, right? While dying. So he finished it 3 days. He finished it, and 3 days later he died. This provided stable income for his family, and they lived well off. He made sure his family is well off. That shows dedication, devotion to his family and his wife. He might be virtuous.
I'd put him in the bottom of pious, dude.
I mean, he was an avid beast. Alcohol, you know, cigars.
Yeah, dude, virtuous.
Do you put him at the top of virtuous?
I'd put him behind
that
little guy right there.
Little guy right there. Next, we got my boy Hayes. Anti-slavery, did not drink, smoke, or gamble. In the Reconstruction.
He ended the Reconstruction. Oh,
yeah, he had to. I mean, he literally. It was either that or what's the guy he ran against? Tilden, yeah. Was gonna win and just ended anyway, so he got a compromise.
Do you think you're gonna put him in compromise?
Yeah,
I think that actually sounds right.
Civil service reform, though. Also, I'm not really gonna rank Grant's military stuff. Like, I know he sent all. Apparently, people say he sent all of his troops in, just like a meat shields. Died, but that's war,
well,
man.
How did they win the war then? I don't know.
Yeah, it's war. Take the Feds. Yeah.
They didn't have at the tactics at the time. You know, they were used to older weapons, and now they had more automatic, faster firing weapons. So that was the Civil War was the bloodiest war because of it. These guys were not prepared.
Yeah, apparently he approved Sherman's actions of burning Atlanta or the Georgia homes and civilians' homes and farms.
There any justification behind that?
There has to be some justification behind it. No, he didn't really have anything bad.
Oh, he made it harder. He made it harder for black people to get their rights.
I mean, you know, the thing was gonna happen anyway. The losing that election, you know, it was either lose the election or end construction.
He had to make a choice. He had to make a compromise. That means you put him in compromise. I'm joking. I'm fine with it.
I think I top just.
But then you're putting him above George Washington.
Okay, we put him.
That's got to be a problem.
Okay, Garfield, he was a devout Christian. Like, this guy was like the most Christian president ever. He was an abolitionist.
He only served a couple months, right? Was it 3 months?
Yeah, and the rest of his months he was bedridden, yeah. Opposed political corruption, supported civil rights, assassinated only months into his presidency. Humility too, and strong ethics. Yeah, this guy was like, this guy might be pious.
This is pretty decent. Yeah, right after the election of James A. Garfield, there was some money scandals going on in the government.
Wait, apparently he had an
affair. Did you play Fruitford B. Hayes? Oh, you did. Okay, they
apparently
got similar beards.
He had an affair in his early into his marriage.
Uh-oh. How early? How long were they together before?
So he expressed deep remorse for it. They reconciled, and by all accounts, he was a faithful and devoted husband afterward. Yeah, he repented.
So he gave into lust.
Despite, like, taking though. Like, he had an affair with his wife.
You're gonna put him in just then? He repented? He did all that? He did some pretty good things?
Yeah. What about low? You want to put him above Washington?
No. No one goes above Washington.
Hey, put him right next to Hayes. Garfield right next to Hayes.
Yeah, I'm fine right there.
I mean, only cheating on his wife, you could...
They got back together. He made it right. He repented and believed in the gospel, brother.
Yeah, it's like no better than Grant when he drank alcohol.
Grant did more things than, you know, Grant was there 4 years.
He had one mistake.
You're gonna put him in virtuous? Alright.
Put him below. Do we put him above
Other
Grant?
than the money scandals.
That doesn't really count.
It doesn't really count. You're just gonna. Oh, all right. There was enough evidence. He's in virtuous.
We got my boy Chester, Arthur?
He worked towards civil rights, didn't he? Civil service rights.
Yeah, the Pendleton Act. Yeah, he dressed lavishly. Apparently, yeah, that's cool.
That makes me think he had
battled
secrets.
kidney cancer disease without seeking sympathy or re-election.
Near the back of just compromise. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Chinese Exclusion Act. I forgot about that one. You know the Chinese Exclusion Act? Basically, like Chinese equal bad in America. That's gonna put him down.
The only really famous thing I know about that was during the World War II, during FDR.
Yeah, it's Japanese, not Chinese.
Oh.
Put Chester above leader of the compromises. Grover Cleveland, he's like, this guy's probably just already damnation.
2 terms, non-consecutive.
He fathered a child out of wedlock, and...
Oh, he married an adopted child?
I guess so. You kind of, yeah, you put it that way, yeah. So
he was just waiting.
This guy's kind of an EDP, bro. I might put him at center.
That's the down. I'd put him in center immediately for that, but we got to look at his good stuff as well.
Put him,
which I think, what I'm about to say is probably going to just keep him in center.
I'll put him in the middle. What do you think?
He liked money. He vetoed a lot of bills that he saw as wasteful spending.
Put him leader of the sinners.
So he didn't want the government to go into more debt, you know. But then again...
Yeah.
Yep. He did bad things by keeping money as well. Them soldiers who fought in the Civil War, they didn't get some of their money because of his vetoing and stuff and thereof.
Yeah. We got my boy Benjamin Harrison. He was honest, upright. Apparently he was cold in personality.
Cold? Like the way he spoke?
Yeah.
Didn't work.
He just spoke up against for black rights and he opposed lynching. So I think we put him just. Horrible. I think we put him.
You know, one thing. I think I'll wait till later in the presidents to talk about it.
Put him above Hayes. Yeah,
25. William McKinley.
He was a devout Methodist. That's Protestant. Served in the Civil War. Expactionist. You know, Spanish-American War. Addicts, Philippines. Yeah.
But he wasn't that bad.
Yeah, he's probably compromised if anything. You know, it's just like not really anything good nor bad.
Shouldn't we put him at the back of Justin?
I think at the top of compromise. He might be the new leader.
All right.
New leader of the.
I mean, he did get assassinated, though, right?
Mm-hmm. He died for his country.
He died for his country. Well, someone must have killed him because they didn't like what he was doing. I guess that's not morality on the context.
Teddy Roosevelt. So
he went against did he go against court decisions or like when he was in his military? Didn't he go against generals' decisions or something? Was Theodore Roosevelt in the military? Yes or no?
Yes, he was in the Spanish-American War.
Didn't he go against his higher ups, their decisions? I swear I seen some kind of example of that in the Teddy Roosevelt show.
I mean, there was this scene where he took the Yucatan. I don't know if that was true or not.
Maybe it was that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, during his presidency, didn't he form the FDA?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, but
he wanted to end all the illegal activities.
Brownsville affair.
An affair?
So, yeah, this is a affair. So, a group of black soldiers in Brownsville, Texas were falsely accused of shooting a white bartender. Without due process, Roosevelt dishonorably discharged 167 black soldiers.
Kicked them out without a fair trial.
Yeah.
Kicked them out of the military.
Booker T. Washington dinner? He had dinner with Booker T. Washington.
We talk about his hunting?
Yeah, it was a hunt. Yeah, he was like a...
he didn't overhunt,
he was kind of a racist, Teddy Roosevelt in a way. It's just he believed in Anglo-Saxon superiority. Yeah, we got
That's
Panama.
That's what the Germans know.
Anglo-Saxon, the English. He loved nature, big ego. I mean, he created ego.
Yeah, he tried going for a third term too. He wanted power. I'd put him in compromise.
But, oh yeah, you know he was in a bar and then like this guy was bullying him. And Teddy Roosevelt stood up and like punched him in the face and knocked him out. That was in a Teddy Roosevelt show.
He knocks him out. He fought the monopolies too.
Yeah.
You know, back then the big oils, they were paying their workers so low money. They were taking in all the income, all the money. That's why they became monopolies. They became too powerful, and he didn't like that. You know, so I think the two really good things he did, fighting monopolies and forming the FDA. So if you're gonna stick him anywhere, I'd say just.
Yeah, put him like above Washington.
Gluttony is a sin, but are we going against It doesn't even matter the Christian values or any religious values. When you eat food like that, it really is gluttonous, and that's like, it's kind of like alcohol. You're, man, I can't think of big words right now. I'm simple-minded. You're going against yourself, essentially. It's like disrespect for yourself. That picture right there, it almost looks like Theodore Roosevelt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like an older, fatter version of him. It's not like he had any scandals or horrible, immoral things.
Where's it go? Like the top of it? I mean,
you choose that for yourself. I'd put him around the.
Like, Washington had slaves, bro.
Well, they're more than 100 years apart. Think about it. These guys are more than 100 years apart. So obviously there's going to be the time difference here. Now we're just saying, yeah, whoever owns a slave is going to be damnation. Just throw them all down there. Throw
Okay.
all the first 15 presidents down into damnation because of it. It's like,
okay,
we
put him below Washington.
can't take that into too much consideration.
Next, we got the infamous Woodrow Wilson. He was openly racist. He resegregated the federal offices. He did support League of Nations, trying to like.
There we go.
Yeah.
They want to make the world a better place. League of Nations never happened, right? Or they didn't get his 10 points, or they only got a couple of them.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
League of Nations did happen. It was succeeded by succeeded by NATO.
The self-proclaimed.
So he's going to damnation. Where at?
You want to put him in damnation?
Yeah, he was racist during like the early 1900s, bro.
I'd put him in sinner then. Yeah, he was racist. That's his main problem.
Free speech.
He got us through World War I.
Because I think his wife had a say in it, and also they just like there was women protesting out in the White House, bro. So he was like, "Fine, you could vote." He didn't do it out of his own thing. I don't really think he just did it because
didn't like it, but he had to.
He might be like a damnation, bro. He resegregated.
So he had strong ideals, bad ones, racism and segregation, not having women the right to vote.
He's going to hell. Boom.
All right.
He's like below. He's a leader of the damnations.
Yeah, I'd put him there. If it's just based on all of his thoughts and him, segregating the federal workplace, it can't be as bad as what these other guys did in damnation. Warren G. Harding.
Oh, so yeah, remember him? Warren G. Harding said like if he was a woman, he'd get pregnant a lot.
That was him? I thought that was Gerald Ford.
Oh, he did have an affair with a teenage. Yeah, he had an affair with someone. He had a kid with them. I think later it was proven to be actually right. So someone is descended from Harding. He drank during Prohibition, gambled, and fathered a child out the wedlock. He admitted he was not up to the job.
That's adultery.
He was like, guys, not gonna lie, I'm not fit to be president, and then he died.
You think it was the dirty water? I'd put him in sinner. Did Buren cheat on his non-existent wife?
What's worse,
I don't
slaves
know,
or cheat on your
you
wife?
have a kid out of wedlock, doesn't seem that bad, but if you're already married to a woman, you have a kid, now that's bad. I don't know. I just leave him where he is. We gotta move on, Danny.
But Cleveland also.
We got one of your favorites coming up next. Guy stays
I'm gonna
there.
put him above Buren though.
You want to make him
Trail of Tears, bro.
even better. Calvin Coolidge, Silent Cal, 1.5 terms.
So this guy's honest, religious. His autobiography is pretty good, yeah.
He went bowling with some other guy.
Oh no, he was he was working out. He supported women's rights. Yeah, he supported women's rights. Apparently, he didn't do little for civil rights, but he did oppose lynching. So and also. The KKK dropped down in numbers, hefty numbers during this time. So he must have.
Do you think that's because of Calvin Coolidge, or did it just happen?
He started like, yeah, I mean.
So yeah, he gave it the green light. He said, "FBI, go behind everyone's backs, take these yuckers out."
Yeah, he lived simple. He was a temperate man. He didn't want power. He actually weakened the presidency's power. He didn't really want power, bro. He didn't run for another term. He did the 10 years.
It's kind of a good thing there. But then now he's right before the Great Depression. Literally, like. He ended his second term, as soon as the Great Depression happened, almost. Is anything that he did during his term, do you think that led to
Not
the Great
really.
Depression?
I mean,
and that would make his morality
a lot of
low?
people said it did, but now historians are starting to say like, it's probably not Calvin Coolidge causing the Great Depression.
I don't think it is either. I think it's just America was expanding after World War I. They were getting the 20s, the roaring 20s, what they call it, and they didn't know about the stock market and how trends happen. If you're going up, you're going up, you're going up, and you don't have any securities like we have now with the FDIC or whatever it's called. Banks are insured up to like $250,000, $500,000 a person. And then the stock market crashes because they didn't know what would happen like we do now. They kept expanding. Too much exponential growth led to collapse, and they failed. And Calvin Coolidge had no idea. No one had no idea, so it just kind of happened.
That'd be awesome.
I'd put him pretty high, dude. I'd put him in virtuous.
I was thinking pious.
You want him in pious?
Silent Cal, dude was quiet. He was like a Bob
Yeah,
Ross.
he was silent on the main issues like social injustice and racial segregation.
His kid
De facto
died.
du jour.
His child died at 6
I
when we
know
were in
his
office.
kid died.
Yeah, you might be like.
That's why he stopped his second term. I'd put him at top of virtuous if anything. I wouldn't
No!
put him in pious. You want him in pious?
Yeah, I'm gonna put him a little pious right there. He
We
might
could
be
call
above
that some
JQA.
bias. Herbert Hoover, horrible president. Literally, he rolled out the tanks on the people, war veterans, when they protested on. God damn. Help me out here, Danny.
I have no clue what you're talking about, frankly.
Sent out the tanks. He called in the National Guard or the military on the people who were protesting. I believe it was at the White House or some other important building that they wanted their, it was pension or, the compensation they were promised during World War I.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was bad. But he was a humanitarian, right? Before presidency. He led World War I food relief efforts.
But then he didn't want to help him after the war.
He was generous and honest, failed to address the depression effectively, took blame with dignity, and continued public service. He died during, I think, John F. Kennedy. He died a year after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Herbert Hoover.
Quite literally.
Propaganda poster. I mean, apparently he met with Hitler. Casey met with Hitler and told him he said F you to Hitler.
He said F you to Hitler?
Basically.
You think if he didn't say that, World War II wouldn't have started?
I mean, I don't know.
Got a butterfly effect right there.
Yeah, I'd put him at just.
You would put him just?
I mean, yeah.
I'd put him compromised, dude. You gotta put him compromised.
Great Depression.
From what he did. His inaction during the Great Depression. And well, I already said it. He rolled out the tanks.
That's his presidency, bro.
Mr. Daniel Helmer put guy in
Dude was orphaned at 9 years old. I went to like his this little monument for him. It was like a shrine or whatever. I don't remember, but it was he orphaned at 9 and became a millionaire, bro.
You have a biased opinion then?
Never took a government salary, public service, bro.
But you're just avoiding everything that he did bad during the Great Depression?
Yeah, I'm trying to like boost it up, bro.
So let's compromise and put him in compromise.
But dude, how is that morally
second
bad?
place.
It's not even that bad. You wanna go second place? Let's go first place, bro. Come on.
All right, Danny. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Without even saying anything, I want to say virtuous. But then again, he did want power.
Actually, you kind of rock. He's either going sinner or damnation, and we're gonna find out in a second here.
Uh-oh.
So, Japanese internment camps.
Oh, there you go.
An affair during marriage. Yeah, it's basically. Yeah.
Guy was crippled. How did he have an affair?
He's the gamer. He's him.
Okay. I mean, he got us through World War II.
That might be even lower.
I mean, that's thousands of Japanese people, and that created so much hate toward Japanese people as well.
Yeah, it might
for
be
years to come. Dude.
There
was probably some lynching on it. Japanese businesses suffered. Harry S. Truman.
2 atomic bombs in Japan, bro.
Okay. Well, that's arguably justifiable.
Why not 1 nuke?
Because they were pretty bad. World War II was pretty bad, dude. The Japanese lit Pearl Harbor. How about we rank the Japanese on this? They literally dive bombed our ships. We did cut off their supplies, and we were having the military presence there to show them, hey, we're here, man.
Refused to join the KKK when asked, and he dropped. Yeah, he also integrated the military. He supported civil rights. He sweared a lot, and he also had a fiery temper.
What, you want to put him in damnation for killing all those people?
Bro killed so many civilians. I mean, was it morally right? I still debated, so we gotta debate if it's moral right now.
He had to make a decision. He thought it would save lives to end the war. That way the Japanese would stop fighting, because even after Germany had lost, the Japanese continued to kill. Before he threw the first bomb, he said, hey, we got weapons of mass destruction or something. No. Yes, he did, Danny. He said, surrender now or else.
Did he really?
Yes, it was something like that. He gave them a formal warning. They never responded, so they dropped the bomb.
Dropping 2, I think 1 would have been enough.
Hey, they didn't surrender until the second one.
Yeah, but...
All right, how about we put him in center then for killing someone?
He he dropped 2 yucca bombs on people. I
Okay,
mean,
what if you were in his position?
it's
What
like,
would you have done?
wait, it's like in the Old Testament when God, like, I think he killed like a bunch of 2-year-olds in Egypt.
What about the plague and the locusts?
Yeah, we're not on that. I'm not talking
7
about
deadly sins, was it?
that. Morality is beyond comprehension. Like that's God to judge. So like, how do you if you use that argument, how can you even
Harry
argue
S. Truman was
Truman's?
God.
Yeah.
He had to judge.
It was
He
beyond your
judged.
comprehension. He knew
It was punishment. So I don't think it's that bad, frankly. If I got to choose his position, I'd put him in compromise.
I'd put him
he
in top
had
center,
to
bro.
make a decision.
We're gonna get hated on for that. That's gonna probably be the major thing. Everyone's gonna put him in damnation.
2 atomic bombs. He had to make the choice.
Bro killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Okay.
I know.
How many people died in the war?
Millions.
There's a philosophy that's about balancing the decisions based on context and consequence. This is what we're doing here. We're literally balancing their good and their bad.
Yeah, this is
and
literally
justifying
morality, yeah.
their actions. Oh my god, this is hard. You want to
Yeah.
put him in center then?
I'm
he
kind
killed all
of
those
agreeing with you
people?
more. I mean, you gotta kind of balance it out.
Yeah, we gotta
We're
move
gonna
on.
put him top center. 2 days later, one fired 2 days after the other one. That's way too short.
You don't think there's enough time?
Yeah,
Probably
they're
should've
already
been a
at
week.
near brink of
They
defeat,
couldn't
too,
respond.
so- yeah, we put him at top. He's the leader of the sinners. He's leading them into battle. That's the worst. That's the best sinner. Wait, worst sinner or best one? He's the best
The
sinner.
least center.
Yeah, he's the least sinner guy. Next we got.
But then
Eisenhower.
here's what we're saying. Hold on. Martin Van Buren, the bottom of the sinners, right? The worst guy.
Yeah.
Is that right?
He's the worst.
He didn't drop 2 nuclear atomic bombs.
Okay, yeah.
Franklin Pierce didn't drop 2 nuclear atomic bombs. Oh god. Can we
Yeah,
put him at the bottom of center?
Oh, put him in. That's where we're gonna put him.
He just bombed him, dude. He just killed those innocent people. All of those innocent people just living out their lives. Someone's cooking dinner. They're literally eating dinner with their families. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta go on the bottom,
man. Okay. All right.
You-
Dwight the Eisenhower. S tier. Yeah, bomb the New
So,
Yorkers. No,
that-
that's bad.
bro. You know Little Rock? Like Dwight the Eisenhower, you know? Like
Little Rock
the-
9. He did enforce civil rights. Well, no, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. He wasn't president during that time, but I'm sure he liked it.
Yeah. Seems like
I think he's a pretty good
wise
guy.
too. Yeah, put him like.
Did he have any like allegations or
Well,
did he cheat
he
on
was
his
loyal
wife?
to his wife despite rumors. No evidence of major personal scandal.
So he hid it well, is what you're telling me.
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I think we put him like
We don't
top
know.
just. I don't know. Below.
Top of just, I'd put him in virtuous, dude. With him defending, he literally sent out 1,000
Oh,
National
yeah, World War
Guard
II,
troops
dude,
to go
fight-
defend them to Rock 9s.
World War II.
Yeah,
fighting
and he
against
was the
Nazis.
general. He was some general in World War II.
He was a hero. Put him like here. Is this good?
I think that's fine.
John F.
Who's got
Kennedy.
next?
So,
Didn't he cheat on his wife? Did he even have a wife?
yeah, he did. Okay,
It was
let me.
with,
I'll-
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
Was it
Marilyn
the
Monroe.
old
That's,
woman?
there must. Yeah, there's probably some theories behind it. Probably true. So he was civil rights. He wanted peace. He was an adulterer. Apparently, he slept with many women. Yeah,
I
I
know that's
think
what
he
they
had
called him.
STD. I think he had STDs.
He was a dog, dude. He loved sex.
Yeah, he had affairs, STDs,
he was-
drug use. By the way.
This was during the space race, right? With
Yeah.
USSR. Ask not what your country can do for you.
We
Ask
choose
what
to
you can
go to
do
the
for your
moon
country.
and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. So he had his.
So
health,
he brought the
yeah.
America together, basically.
He's a sinner already.
Well, that's morality, right? He was going to take out the other guy, the leader.
Gotta
it was,
do what
it was
you can
supposed
do.
to be a
Fidel
good
Castro
thing,
gotta go
so-
down. Wait,
Because
so
of
you're
his
telling
adulterer?
me Harry S. Truman dropped 2 atomic bombs, right? And he's better than these guys?
Oh, no. You want to throw him in damnation?
Oh my God.
Okay,
I-
put him at the very bottom then, behind Johnson.
Oh my God, is that where he's going?
That's where he's got to go. If you think about it, all these other presidents, other than maybe FDR, which he's insane, he should go lower, dude. With how much impact he had on the Asian Americans, 2 atomic bombs. That's 2 major cities of Japan completely gone
Right behind FDR.
just because of his sex affairs and.
Yeah. Wait, no, Harding must be higher than these guys. Come on.
He
These
did
two-
try and make change. In
These
America,
guys all
he
3
wanted to
cheated.
change
This is
a
a
lot.
little cheating guy, yeah.
The cheating bracket.
Yeah, I think Harding's like probably the best of them. LBJ. So he showed his jumbo. He was
Showed his
crude,
what?
vulgar, and often abusive to staff. Passed Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, escalated Vietnam War, caused
Yeah,
massive
that's.
division.
I think the worst part about him is the Vietnam War,
He
sending
ruled
soldiers to
ruthlessly,
their death, hiding facts from the American people. This is when people really started to view the government as untrustable. Because before the Vietnam War and Lyndon B. Johnson, all their actions, or at least most of them, were transparent. The people of America knew what was going on. We didn't lie to them about World War II or World War I or what was going on until the Vietnam War, when he propaganda essentially to our entire country. We're winning the war, it's going great, with no statistical facts, and then it comes back later and bites him in the ass that, hey, it was bad. The Vietnam War was a shit show. People wanted to elect the anti-war president guy instead of Nixon.
Okay, Lyndon B. Johnson. He's gotta go.
I can't
center.
see the chat.
Great. Yeah, I took it off screen.
Well, now hold on. Lyndon B. Johnson did get Civil Rights and Voting Rights Act. Yeah, I'd keep
Lady
him down
Bird.
there. He was a bad.
I
I
think
mean, look at him. He looks like a crook, and we got the next guy who is a crook coming up.
Talked with China, foreign affairs, in the Vietnam War draft, created EPA. He was paranoid, dishonest. So
gonna have
Watergate's
to talk
actually not
about
that bad. He just spied on his opponents.
Well,
they
he
broke
tried
in, still
influencing
classified
the
them.
election by spying on them. What really got him, I think, during that Watergate scandal was when the Supreme Court told, he's got to turn over the secret tapes, the video recordings, or the audio recordings that were in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
And then he turned it in after a bunch of reluctant stuff in the night of firing, or whatever they call it, where he fired like 3 guys in a row because they wouldn't do something. And when he turned in those tapes, part of it was missing. That really got him right there, He didn't want to be the bad guy, and then he just left. So that's got to be immoral right there. He didn't take the punishment. I am not a crook. I work for everything I
put him
got.
at top, leader of the compromises. Wait, no.
That's a good thing. You want him at the bottom.
Leader of the compromises at the top. Below McKinley.
I do him at the bottom. He lied to the American people.
He became
in their face
a better person
on multiple
after.
occasions.
Yes, he was a pretty decent president. I'd put him A tier. Next, we got Gerald Ford. This guy was an honest, he was known for being honest and humble. And he pardoned Nixon, which was actually moral, so it could, the nation could heal up. Scandals.
Well, he was a bad president, though, right?
Ford.
He wasn't ready. He was Nixon's vice president, right? He was never elected. He was not a good president.
Yeah, his presidency's like C tier, but he did start pardoning Vietnam drafters. He begun pardoning them.
He pardoned Nixon too. Did you already say that?
Yeah, I think that was morally the best case there, so the nation could heal. I'd put him at leader of compromises, maybe even higher actually.
He didn't cheat on his wife.
Yeah. I'd put him here, maybe even higher.
Got him in
actually.
just.
I might put him higher, right here. He's a decent, honest person. Died pretty old.
I think that's fine. Can't be bad, right? 39th president.
You want to take this
who
one?
lived to be 100 years old.
Rest
Jimmy
in peace,
Carter.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I'll talk about him. He, I don't know what it was called, his movement in Africa about trying to help the diseases and stuff, and help provide to the families there. But his life after presidency, he did a lot of good things, donated a lot of money to a lot of foundations. The main ones being in Africa, He brokered peace between Egypt and Israel, apparently. He was very honest, but during his presidency, he was not very effective. He was seen as weak after a certain action. I remember discussing this in my government class more recently. I can't remember what it was exactly. But overall, I think he was actually pretty good at trying to work with Congress, but something bad happened and people seen him as weak.
Yeah.
But that's not moral.
I can extend
I
over.
think he's a pretty good guy, morally.
Yeah, this might be pious, yeah. People say he's often cited as the most moral president ever existed.
He never cheated on his wife?
Yeah, he's deeply religious. He was honest. He advocated human rights and peace. Yeah, he was continues humanitarian work at an old age. He reconciled with Gerald Ford. They became best friends. So did him and George H.W. Bush. He was one of the last Democratic presidents, during this time, this incident was kind of it already begun. So every Democrat after just continued to hold this policy, and I'm not gonna say the policy yet. But you probably already noticed. He was the first and only Democrat. Everyone before him, obviously, everyone else. I'm going to say it. It was abortion, okay?
Oh my
Everyone
God.
before Jimmy Carter, obviously, opposed abortion, okay? It basically did not exist. But Jimmy Carter was the only Democratic president when abortion became an issue to actually disapprove of it. And he also wished that the Democrats became more lenient and started to oppose abortion. So, this guy's pious, bro.
Put him pious.
I might even put him above.
You think above?
Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah, I would put him above Lincoln. This is morality tier list. Remember, Lincoln was pretty racist, although he did help a bunch of the black people. There's theories that, you know, he was kind of racist.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter's probably going to be the one up there forever. Yeah, the way I'm looking at it, he's up there. He's going to be, yeah. I don't think we're going to have another virtuous person now.
No, there's not. Definitely not.
Yeah, everyone else has committed war crimes. Yeah.
All right, Ronald Reagan. The scariest thing someone could say is, I'm here from the government. I'm here to help.
Iran-Contra scandal.
He helped end the Cold War.
He was loyal to his wife. No major scandals. He had a mixed race record. I think something happened in California. I'm pretty sure he said AIDS was caused by homosexual people, and he was like slow on it. He was personally moral, but his morality and his administration is kind of complex.
Oh yeah, Iraq, Afghanistan, everywhere in the Middle East. Africa.
I'd put him like somewhere in compromise, maybe like low compromise. Actually, no, these guys own slaves, bro. You'd put him in just.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know why we have Hoover and C, dude.
I already talked about this, Danny.
Yeah.
Give you a finalized spot.
Above Nixon?
Yeah, you can't put him below Nixon. He didn't have no Watergate scandal.
I'm pretty sure one of them said the N-word. I think Reagan said the N-word.
Okay, that doesn't.
It's like he called Africans monkeys.
Whoa. George H.W. Bush.
Oh yeah, this guy was also a strong character with integrity and decency.
Didn't he send soldiers to die?
Where?
In Iraq.
That's kind of like George W. Bush a little bit more when he like invaded Iraq.
I'm confusing the two then.
Yeah, George H.W. Bush, he's still kind of like the Gulf War. He led through the Gulf War. Like he kind of wanted his son Jeb Bush to be president. He didn't really care about his other son George W. Bush in a way. But
I heard about that before.
Yeah, I watched the W movie.
Some immoral stuff right there.
No, I think I put him above, like somewhere in just.
Just?
Iraq War was kind of justified. Someone said above Ford.
Well, he did lie to the American people.
Oh no, new taxes.
All right, next guy, Bill Clinton.
Billy Clinton. How are you gonna cheat on your wife yet read the book Meditations by Marcus Aurelius? So Monica Lewinsky affair, cheating on his wife. But
still, yeah, he got impeached, you know. And some people argue that his personal life has nothing to do with, you know, getting impeached because we have all these other presidents who cheated.
I mean, no,
there might be some theories behind that.
An oath or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he lied under oath. That's what they got him for. That he did cheat on his wife.
Yeah.
But then you could argue that what led him to lie under oath was that he didn't want to look bad like he cheated on his wife.
So, I think
that's also a controversial topic.
Sinner, like high sinner, like a leader of the sinners.
Where's the other cheaters? Put him with the cheater bracket, man. Put him behind Franklin. At least he didn't send the people to die. Yeah, well, we got to put him with the other cheaters, the other adulterers. You know, that is a sinner right there. In the morality tier list, you can't just cheat on your wife. Usually that'll lead to divorce. You want to put him the leader of them? Leader of the cheaters? I'd like him to be with the other cheaters. That way they're all together. Okay, he's leader of the cheaters, though. He's like above all the other leader cheaters. Of the cheaters. There you go, yeah. Yeah. You got to lied under oath on top of it, so. Yeah. George W. Bush, the very controversial attack on terrorism, sending the military to Iraq. Bunch of soldiers died. We got the guy eventually, but you know, a big thing for him winning his second term was because of that thing, the war on terrorism. How people saw it as also, you know, defending America and how it was a good thing. But then, oh, interesting. I mean, he did send in those yuckers to die, but everyone was okay with it at the time. They did not care because their country just got fucking attacked. Yeah, put him below compromise. Low compromise. Like at the time, I think, you know, it was all right. Other than the Harry S. Truman, poor guy, poor guy down there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Obama, strong moral leadership on social issues, champion healthcare. Soda.
Someone put in the chat. Champion healthcare reform and LGBT rights.
I think he was overall a good Democrat.
But he was pro-choice on abortion, supported abortion access, and signed the Affordable Care Act with included abortion control provisions. Faced ethical challenges with military action, so he did drone strikes on like Libya. He just drone struck Libya.
Sure, there might have been a little bit of questionable stuff, you know, with the drone strikes. What else does he have?
I mean, I
bad,
guess
though?
Reagan and Nixon all did like attacks on like foreign countries. I'd put on
Remember,
like
that's
leader of
controversial
compromise.
decision. Dude, I'd put him, if anything, at the bottom of virtuous.
At the bottom of virtuous.
Yes, he's a good guy.
So divisive figure, obviously. I mean, this guy got all the loyal supporters.
Pious all the way. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'd put him in damnation, dude. He just attacks his opponent. He doesn't build on his great points. He's like, we're gonna make America great again. We're gonna immigrate all the immigrants, and we're gonna take them out. Like,
all the what?
that can't be that can't just be a virtuous thing right there. It's separate. He's separated families. You know, whether it's a good thing for the country or not, it doesn't matter. It's immoral. I think he goes in damnation pretty damn close to Harry S. Truman.
Yeah, I kind of differ on it. I mean, okay, Don, do you think we should open the border to those that have a whole family in like you know, if they're gonna get killed by like or they're like under threat of the Taliban or not? Yeah, or not Taliban. I mean, fuck, the cartel.
The cartel?
Yeah,
Did the cartel come to America to get their ass?
No, they won't. But like, do you think families should like, if there's like a kid, you know, do you think they should come over in America?
Well, America's whole thing is everybody's welcome, you know. Obviously, you got to go through the registration to become an American citizen, but that process is so corrupt within itself and how long it takes. And you get your green card, and it takes years to become a citizen. And then Trump's like, get all these Mexicans out of here. He hates Mexicans. And he said he doesn't, but he clearly does. Something's wrong with him, I'll tell you that much. He did a lot of bad, shady things. Apparently, he buried his wife in a golf course to avoid paying taxes.
Yeah, he might be like a sinner. I mean...
He talks about his daughter sexually.
Oh, yeah. And also...
The guy's in damnation. There's no question. You could look up how many bad things Trump did in his lifetime. He had a bunch of bankrupt businesses.
How's that morally bad?
Some were built on corruption.
Yeah, guess who's a billionaire now?
Bending the laws. Yeah, and he's got a shitload of money, and he just has it.
Richard Wilson, I think he might be like dropping lower down. I feel like John Tyler would be higher than.
Supreme Court's decision.
Someone says he's bigoted, not racist.
Like bigoted. I don't know these new words of today's society. What the hell does bigoted mean? Reasonably attached to belief, opinion, faction, procedure, prejudice. There you go.
Yeah, you're kind of being bigoted in here too. You're just
For putting him in damnation.
I
think that much is obvious, dude. Everyone in the country can agree that Trump is a bad person. Obviously, there's going to be people that ride his dick. They're just
right here. I'm joking.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the way I don't like how you like debate people. Just think in your brain. Use common sense. That's not how you can't say that all the time. You have to actually have evidence. You have to actually make points, Dalton. You can't just say that. That's not how that works. No one has the same brain as you, buddy.
It's too recent to make statistical points that I don't have. I don't have all the evidence. I just know the answers. You know what I mean? We'll revisit this. We'll revisit the tier list 20 years from now, huh?
Oh wait.
We're on the very last president, Mr. Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Sniffs kids.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh god, that's kind of a weird thing though. That's not like a. It's not a horrible.
That's F tier already.
That's not cheating on your wife, you know.
Yeah.
Did he cheat on his wife?
No, he lost his wife.
Didn't he pardon his son after some kind of crime?
Oh yeah, that's morally wrong. That was morally wrong. He should not. He said he wasn't gonna pardon him, and then he pardoned him. He's pro-choice.
He tried his best, dude.
Afghanistan
for what the hand that he was dealt, he tried his best.
Yeah, incapable trait. Yeah.
He was too old. Yeah, incapable. But then that's like presidential tier list. What's his morality? You think he's racist? I don't know. He looks like he hates black people.
Joe Biden's not racist. Joe Biden's not racist, bro. What?
He was Obama's vice president, right? Or Bush's?
Yeah.
He was someone's vice president.
No.
It was Obama.
Oh, it was Obama. Yeah.
Okay,
I put him like a compromise, baby.
Compromise?
Yeah.
What's wrong with him to be in compromise? Like
no, it's just like it's nothing good, nothing bad. I mean, partying his son.
Put him in just then. Remember, this is morality tier list. There's nothing. I don't like Biden, all right, just because he's an old yucker. He didn't do nothing, but he was a nice guy. He wasn't a bad person. He wasn't evil. He wasn't ill-tempered. He wasn't, you know, like all these bad CK3 traits. That is bad. That's a Democrat idea. I don't think that's Joe Biden. An old yucker like that would probably not be too kind to, you know, have his son turn into a woman. I'm sure that's the Democrats pulling the strings on him.
Okay, I'd put him in compromise though.
You think at the bottom of compromise?
Right
What's
there.
wrong with him?
I
Look
mean,
at all the other guys who are in compromise and tell me what they did
affirming
as
here?
opposed to what he didn't do.
Okay, right. What about here? Right in the middle. Maybe even
Hold on a second.
right there. Number 3.
What we did? There you go. Yeah.
This is it.
So pious S tier. We got Jimmy Carter. It's Jimmy Carter, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Carter. Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln, Calvin Coolidge, and John. Is John?
Quincy Adams. Quincy Adams.
There you go. Yep. Quincy.
Oh, someone said, why is Bush Jr. not down there then?
Where's he? He's in center, right?
No, he's at the freaking. He's almost touching it, bro. He's
Oh,
at
the very bottom of
yeah.
compromise. Well, he did a couple good things, you know. Well, I don't know. Maybe our tier list isn't perfect. Obviously not.
I mean, yeah, you could debate this.
If we had Urban here,
Yeah, he'd
you
have a
know,
big help.
together and
Society,
shit.
bro. I'm fixing your life.
that's great.
Or helping
I
it.
hope you do. I hope you do. Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I hope you engineer these nuts.
Okay.
Alright. It is treason then. Yeah.